Hello and welcome everyone to Grid Vision's presentation of the Global Racing Truck Series here on Sunday afternoon. You could do anything other than spend time with us here, but you have decided to come and watch some Global Racing Truck Series racing at Nashville Superspeedway. Of course, the NASCAR guys will be heading here in a little bit as well, so this will be a nice, I guess, way to hype you up for some real-life NASCAR racing. Of course, this is going to be some great racing here tonight, I do believe. My name is Brian Britt. Of course, I have Austin Derbyshire down behind the camera. Is going to be switching us, giving us all the best camera angles here at this racetrack. And of course, I've always kind of thought this name, the name for this racetrack, was a little odd. Nashville Superspeedway. One of my good friends even says this track's not even in Nashville. It's actually in Lebanon, and it's not a super speedway. So I don't know why they named it this, but either way, it's going to be some good racing. Of course, the trackside temperature at the moment is about 84 degrees, so not too hot at the moment. Of course, this track is known for being quite slick, so we'll have to wait and see how this kind of affects the handling for these trucks. Haven't seen a whole lot of truck racing here at this racetrack, but I have seen some NASCAR next gens out here a little bit, and they definitely seem like they were able to handle it fairly well. We'll just have to see what the trucks are able to do. Let's take a quick gander at the actual points coming into tonight's race. And, of course, pulling those up right now, Dale Brooks at the top of the board. He is the most winningest driver so far this season with 4 wins. His total points is 1,598, and that is, I do believe, just about 50, or actually 62 points ahead of Ricky Hudgens, who has had definitely a very good season with only 1 win, though, but he has been very, very consistent. Third place, up a spot, Chad McGinley. Of course, he has won 2 wins. I do believe he was taking one earlier in the season, so it's been quite a bit since he's won, but he was very good last week. Fourth place right now, down 1 spot, Stephen Hayes. Of course, he has 2 wins to his name. Up to 5th, has not really moved much, is Steve Gerber. He's just been really, really consistent from what we've seen thus far. Michael Hayes, he's up 2 spots, sits in that 6th place position. Of course, he do not believe has any wins either, but he's been very, very consistent. Jeff Weimer is down a spot in 7th. 8th place down a spot, Mark Royce. 9th place up 2 spots, David Halsey. And down a spot in 10th is Justin LeBlanc. So there's been a lot of movement, and I expect there's going to probably be even more movement after this race here. But definitely the top 15 from what I'm seeing have over 1,000 points, up to Dale Brooks with over, like I said, about 1,500, almost 1,600. So definitely a lot of guys, doing very well, been very consistent, and some guys have been really having those breakout races to where they just win all the time and are always up front. And Dale Brooks is definitely that guy. And I do believe we're going to have the grid set here in just a moment. And we'll go ahead and run through our official starting grid. Of course, Chad McGinley is going to be starting up on the pole position. 2nd place is going to be Mark Royce. 3rd place is going to be Bobby Mantle. Looks like we're having a little bit of an issue with our graphics here. Sure we'll get that worked out. 4th place, Jeremy Richmond. 5th place, Stephen Hayes. 6th, Jeff Weimer. 7th, Austin McGill. 8th, Ricky Hudgens. 9th, Joshua Slade. 10th, Dale Brooks. 11th, Steve Gerber. 12th, Michael Hayes. Of course, 13th, David Halsey. 14th, Stephen Knight. 15th, Don Blazier. 16th, EJ Luna. 17th, Josh Kampfer. 18th, Justin LeBlanc. Of course, 19th, Brian Ricker. 20th, Kenny Heath. 21st, along? Haven't seen this guy in a long time, William Brown. That is one name I haven't seen in probably like a year. But he's always been fast, so can't wait to see what he's able to do. Of course, 22nd, Michael Lester. And rounding out this 23-car field is Ronald Holmes. Surprised we don't have more than that. Usually this series has about 30 trucks, but I think this track might be a little bit more intimidating, I think, than a lot of these guys have been letting on. Of course, this to be a little bit more about the details of this racetrack, it is a 1.33-mile track, which is why I say it's not a super speedway like the name of this track kind of suggests. But still, nonetheless, I mean, it's definitely a fast track. I mean, these guys will probably get up to about 170 in the on the straightaways, but of course, it'll be a little bit less speed, I'd say, in the corners, probably more down to around the 100 or so. Just considering this is, even though it's a 1.33-mile track, it is a lot like a short track with the way you have to use the brakes in order to continue to, kind of be able to make these corners. Of course, a lot of banking at this place. It is concrete, so I do expect that we might see some tire wear. But surprisingly, I think this track, compared to other concrete tracks, has less tire wear, which is surprising. Usually you see it at tracks like Bristol, you see it at tracks like Dover, a lot of tire wear. Those concrete tracks are notorious burning up tires. This track's not so much. So we'll have to see. Maybe it's different in the trucks, but I know in the next gen, tire wear was about a half a second or so of fall off. We'll have to see if that is going to be the case here at Nashville Superspeedway. It looks like Chad McGinley, though, is the control car. We do apologize. We're still having some technical difficulties, looks like, with our overlay. I'm sure we'll get that worked out, but so at least we can see exactly what's going on. I'll try to describe everything as best I can that is happening on the racetrack. But Chad McGinley, as I mentioned, going to be starting from the pole here. And it looks like they're going to be exiting turn 4 in just a moment. Of course, Mark Roy starting up on the top side. He was very fast last week. Let's see if he can carry some of that momentum here to this week, as the green flag comes out for the first time here today in the Global Racing Truck Series at Nashville. Chad McGinley with a pretty good restart. Bobby Mansell Jr., very good qualifying effort for him, and very good restart as well, as he's still side-by-side for second place. Of course, we see Stephen Hayes in that 4th spot battling side-by-side with Jeremy Richmond. A little bit of a wiggle there behind him. Austin McGill in that 6th spot. Of course, Austin McGill was the most dominant truck last week. Unfortunately, I do not believe he got the win, actually. I'm pretty sure a surprising upset there from Dale Brooks last week. Dale Brooks, speaking of him, gets loose. Now 3 wide on the bottom here in 12th position. So a lot of things going wrong for some drivers. A lot of guys probably not expecting the trucks to handle this way. Of course, the official C Open is at Nashville Superspeedway this week, so they did have plenty of opportunity to probably practice and get ready. But of course, also the conditions of the track do help change a lot of how that truck handles. As it looks like we just saw Mark Royce. Mark Royce started on the outside pole, now has fallen back to 5th place. He just got passed by Austin McGill. Of course, Jeff Weimer starting to be under fire here, I do believe, from Ricky Hudgens and Joshua Slade, as they are actually side-by-side right behind them. And, of course, you see Slade kind of working on the bottom, trying to see if he can't possibly get by Ricky Hudgens. That is for that 7th place position. But Chad McGinley leading this train, as here comes Stephen Hayes. Hayes going to be trying to see what he can do on Bobby Mansell. Now, this is a track that is very difficult to pass at. It is notoriously a one-groove racetrack to where you're going to have a tough time really making a pass happen. You're going to have to really, almost like a road course, wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake. Here comes Chad McGinley, though. Can he get underneath Mansell? And I think he does. Challenge for 2nd place. And it looks like Austin McGill going to possibly try to follow him through. See Mansell kind of going up the racetrack. Bottom line at this place, I think, is the preferred line. But, of course, you do want to be able to arc your corners in order to maintain momentum. It does look like we got our overlays back working. Oh, for a moment we did. And Mark Royce, though, trying to see if he can't make the top line work against Austin McGill. Of course, let's do a rundown through the top 10 right now, as we see, of course, the top 7. Actually, top 6 have pulled away from the rest of the field right now. Austin McGill, problem sliding through the grass. No caution comes out. And there goes, I do believe, Kenny Heath as well with some issues. So that is 2 trucks at the same time having an issue. No caution out on the racetrack. That is going to be unfortunate for Austin McGill, as Mark Royce and Bobby Mansell still battling. We do have a new leader, though. Stephen Hayes up to the top of the board. Mark Royce getting loose, 3 wide, with Jeff Weimer in the middle. What a race this is turning out to be. A lot of these guys are starting to struggle already. Fall off has been quite high from a lot of these drivers. As we see, of course, Stephen Hayes has fallen off about 4/10. The rest of the field has even fallen off over a half a second. So I thought tire wear wasn't going to be as substantial as I thought it was, but it has definitely turned into be quite a substantial bit. It looks like I even had a little bit of technical difficulty there, a little bit of a blink on my end as well. Looking a little bit further back, we're seeing a lot of battling going on. Josh Camphor and Ricky Hudgens right now are side by side, as Camphor actually is able to get by Hudgens. Now tries to challenge, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Michael Hayes right in front of him. But here comes Dale Brooks to the inside of Ricky Hudgens. Of course, Dale Brooks, I do believe, last week's winner, is now at 4 wins on the season. And has definitely been the most dominant driver thus far this season. So I do expect very much so for him to drive his way up to the front, even with it being so incredibly hard to pass at a track like this. That 32 Harley-Davidson machine has always seemed to be capable of making moves that no one else has been able to make. Stephen Hayes now out to 0.6 of a second of a lead. This is the biggest lead we've seen for the first place guys so far. And we're already only 9 laps into this race, ladies and gentlemen. That's the crazy thing about it. I feel like we've already had a full race worth of drama already unfold. But we still are just now reaching that 10th mark as Chad McGinley is going to lose the second spot to Jeff Weimer. What a drive for Jeff Weimer in the 73 machine. He has been really consistent this season. You see Jeremy Richmond now battling, I do believe, with Michael Hayes. Of course, Hayes up on the top side, Richmond on the bottom. Definitely some great battle. Oh, Hayes getting incredibly close to the wall. That's one of the dangers of this racetrack. It's just so easy to get into that outside wall at this place. I mean, this being a one-group racetrack, if you're on the high side trying to battle with someone, a lot of times it just getting onto the gas a little bit too early will send you right up into the outside wall. And these trucks are notorious for being very vulnerable. When you hit the wall and get damage, it can cause the truck to not handle as well. Of course, they did update the damage model recently, which have made these trucks just a little less vulnerable to things of that nature. So we'll have to see. But you see that Jeff Weimer, once he got by Chad McGinley, he is now driving away. He has got about a 0.7, or about a 0.4 of a second lead, I should say. And Mark Royce, of course, got by McGinley as well. McGinley's starting to struggle. I'm watching this 28. He is not doing well. He's actually holding up everybody behind him right now. You can see that there's kind of been a little bit of a bottleneck that has formed here, 5th on back here. So keep an eye on this. Jeremy Richmond, of course, right now side by side still with Michael Hayes. And Dale Brooks, with all this bottleneck, Dale Brooks has entered the picture as well. And I expect he might be the one to try to clear this, I guess, stopper out of here and try to get through here. But what a interesting race. I didn't mention as well the fuel window here tonight. It's about 55 to 60 from what I've heard. And also we do have 5 sets of tires that are down in the pits for these guys in order to utilize here. Of course, still side by side is Jeremy Richmond. Of course, Richmond was on the bottom side of Michael Hayes, but has, I guess, switched lanes and went up to the top to see if that was going to help him, and I don't think it did. Ooh, big wiggles coming off of turn, I think that was turn 3. Yep, coming off turn 4, we saw big wiggles there from Michael Hayes. Almost lost it there. I do want to come back to the front, though, with Stephen Hayes. He does have a pretty good lead right now, 0.7 of a second. But Jeff Weimer, last time by, was about a 0.5 tenth faster than him. So keep an eye out on that, as the battle is still raging here for this 6th place position. And here comes Dale Brooks. I think he's going to clear this battle out as he now comes to the inside of Jeremy Richmond. And he makes the pass look effortlessly. And he is going to move up to 7th place. Of course, Dale Brooks, I do believe, started in 10th, so he's already up about 3 positions so far. Definitely been a good drive there from the 32, always is, and we always see him really driving very well, always very consistent. Wheelman, I'd say. That is definitely a wheelman. Here comes Michael Hayes, though, to the inside of Bobby Mantle for that 5th place position. And it looks like Michael Hayes definitely with a pretty good run of speed. I think he's going to get clear here. A little bit of a better run out on the exit of 4 for Mantle. But yeah, here comes Michael Hayes. I think he's going to get clear. Drives it into turn 1, and yep. And Dale Brooks, of course, just following Michael Hayes right on through effortlessly. And look at the tire fall off we're seeing for most of these drivers. I mean, goodness gracious. A lot of these drivers have even fallen off almost a second. So this is a lot unlike the next gen machine where it was about a 0.5 second of fall off. This has been over a second almost. So keep an eye out. I think it's going to continue to get worse and worse as we're only 18 laps now into this run. As here comes Jeremy Richmond. I do believe he's going to try to get by Bobby Mantle. Now, Richmond has been a very, very talented driver. Unfortunately, he always seems to have bad luck. He's got a lot of pace. Really knows what he's doing when it comes to driving that race car, but it seems like he's always in kind of the wrong place at the wrong time. So hopefully this is the race where he can really turn all of that around as he does get clear of Mantle. Goes a little bit high, but he's able to keep that position. Last time by, though, Stephen Hayes was the fastest truck on the racetrack. I think Clean Air really is starting to pay dividends here for that 13 machine. As, of course, we see Richmond followed by a train of race cars. Bobby Mantle, Josh Camper, David Holsey. That's the driver we haven't talked about. As he is going to drive underneath Camper. He's going to see if he can't possibly work his way up into 9th, possibly. Now, Holsey is always a very talented race car driver. We always see him just able to drive from the back to the front. We've seen that he has that capability to do so. But it all depends on it. Does he get involved in an accident? It seems like that is always kind of what ends up happening to him. Not sure if it's bad luck, but I mean, I think in a lot of ways, when race car drivers say, "Oh, I just got bad luck," I think in a lot of ways, you put yourself in those positions in a lot of ways. If you make a mistake on pit road that puts you back into the pack to where you have to drive your way through the field, you are making it a lot more dangerous for yourself. So I think that David Holsey is one of those guys that ends up putting himself in some of those positions. But he's in not a bad spot right now. If he could just keep it together, keep his eyes forward, I think he's going to be definitely in for a good finish here today. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, Camper really doing a great job defending against this encroachment. But look at Camper. He goes way high. He's getting loose. So I don't know. I think Holsey eventually is going to get this pass completed. Camper's starting to show a major loose condition. And yep, there goes Holsey up to 9th place. Stephen Hayes back up to the leader, is out to over a second lead at the moment over Jeff Weimer. Of course, Michael Hayes sits in that 3rd spot. He is about 1.6 seconds back from Jeff Weimer. Of course, Dale Brooks about 0.3 back from Michael Hayes in that 4th spot. And I do believe last time by, he wasn't faster, so I don't know if Dale Brooks has already kind of used his stuff up. 5th place is Chad McGinley at the moment. He started on the pole, is now back into 5th place. 6th place, Mark Roy started outside the pole, now in 6th. Of course, he's been falling off like really badly. I see Mark Royce last time by, he was a 31.8. That is about a half a second or more slower than everyone else around him. Jeremy Richmond sits in the 7th place position right now. Bobby Mantle sits 8th. David Holsey, we were just talking about him, he's in 9th, and Joshua Slade is in that 10th place position. So I just wanted to run down through the top 10 right now. Now on the edge of the top 10, I won't go any further than that, is EJ Luna. Haven't talked a whole lot about that driver tonight, but he is not that far back from Joshua Slade at the moment, about 0.3 back. And he's another driver that I say always seems to have some bad luck. You know, just has got speed. He's one of those drivers that definitely seems like he can do a lot with what he has. If he just could find himself a clean race, I think that's the biggest thing. But I do have some battling a little bit further back. Josh Camper, once he lost that spot to, I do believe, David Holsey, he has been dropping like a stone right now. He's back to 14. So he's probably hoping for some sort of caution or something to get some fresh tires on that machine. And the driver that's right actually behind EJ Luna I wanted to talk about was actually Steve Gerber. He's in 5th place in the points right now and has just been the picture of consistency. A lot of times we've seen Gerber in seasons past has had a lot of terrible luck. But I'll tell you, he seems like he has definitely turned it around this season to where he just has been the picture of consistency. And we I think we went back a little bit further and saw Stephen Knight. He's having some issues right now, falling back. He's in 19th, actually just got passed by Michael Lester. Austin McGill, who we saw, I do believe, in the first 10 or so laps, actually spun out into the grass. He has made his way back up to 17th right now, so he's still out there. He's still trying to do what he can, but he is about 12 seconds back from our leader, so he has a lot of time to make up. He's probably praying that some sort of caution or something comes out to where he can get back into the heat of things. You are seeing a battle here. Bobby Mantle and Mark Royce, I do believe, battling it out. Mark Royce back to 9th place here. Mantle back to 8th. So these guys, of course, started. I think Bobby Mantle started in 3rd position. He is not looking good. Mark Royce, of course, outside pole. So I think they might be starting to really struggle here. Looking at lap times, Royce's last time by was a 31.9. That is about 7/10 off of what the leader, Stephen Hayes, is doing. Jeff Weimer's also starting to struggle as well. You see a 31.6 from him. So there's a lot of guys that are starting at this point in the run are really starting to have a tough time. This is to be expected. Not every truck is going to be built the same here. I'll tell you what, Stephen Hayes seems to be the one that is holding up the best on the long runs. We actually just saw Steve Gerber get the pass completed there on E.J. Luna, and that puts him up into the top 10. Oh, Joshua Slade drifting it right there beside E.J. Luna. This is not over as Slade able to keep it going. Don Blazier trying to maybe take advantage. I don't know if I would do that, Don. Be careful, because that 12 is sideways. You can see Don Blazier is trying to see if he can't take advantage of a slower truck here. I don't know if I would necessarily try to do that, just considering if Slade gets loose in front of you, you're going right with him. Like Blazier goes up to the top of the racetrack, goes very, very wide, and he is not going to be able to get that pass completed on Slade, as we see Mark Royce now battling with Steve Gerber. Gerber trying to move up to that 8th or 9th spot. Royce has just been on the struggle bus right now. He is not doing well at all. That truck is not handling well. This concrete is acting like a cheese grater on these tires at the moment. Everybody in the field, not even the leader, or everybody, no exceptions, has fallen off over a second already. So this is not like the next gen at all. This is going to be a game of conserving tires. If a caution comes out, I think at any time, we're going to see everyone try to take a fresh set of tires. And we're on, oh, there goes Don Blazier sideways through the grass. And he is having some major difficulties. No caution as of yet as he comes up back onto the racetrack. Fortunately, Austin McGill was able to get by without damaging his truck. That could have definitely been a bad deal there. Oh, there we go, taking a replay, I do believe, to see exactly what happened. And that all happened as a result of a hit on the wall. Yeah, we do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Usually we have a graphic that says replay, but it did not show up there. So we are having quite a bit of difficulties here today, but it's all right. We'll definitely still try to bring you the action as it happens. We definitely appreciate you bearing with us. At least we got the ticker working. Stephen Hayes, though, he has been a dominant force here today. Of course, up in the lead by over 3 seconds right now. Has steadily been the fastest car, or one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Of course, last time by, the fastest was Dale Brooks, who is actually, I do believe, in the process of possibly passing his teammate Jeff Weimer for the 2nd place position. And yeah, they are very close, within a 10th of each other now, side by side. And Dale Brooks is going to make that pass look easy, too. He was moving at about a little over 2/10 faster than Weimer a lap last time by, so not a surprise. Now let's see, does Brooks have what it takes to possibly catch up with Stephen Hayes? I think that's going to be the big question, the major question that everybody's going to have. Can he actually catch up to Stephen Hayes? Because he has a monstrous lead, 3 seconds. That's going to be very difficult to overcome. Looking back a little bit further, 11th place, caution flag is out on the racetrack. Not sure why the caution is out here, but this is going to definitely have some huge implications. Could it have been Kenny Heath, possibly? I see that he is right there, but maybe not. Give us just a second. We're going to see if we can't find exactly what happened here. Maybe Michael Lester? Yeah, I think it was Michael Lester. Oh, him and Ronald Holmes. This is definitely what caused the caution, I would assume. See Ronald Holmes and Michael Lester getting involved with one another here. Looks like we do have some pit stops underway. While we do have a moment, I think we'll take a brief step away. We'll be right back with some more racing action here with the Global Racing Truck Series at Nashville Superspeedway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grid Vision's presentation of the Global Racing Truck Series here. And of course, we are at Nashville Superspeedway. If you just joined us, we had our first caution of the day. As of course, I do believe Michael Lester and Ronald Holmes had a little bit of contact together here. Of course, this is going to bring the whole field back together. I do believe the pace car lights should be going out this time by. Been having a little bit of issues on, I think, iRacing's side of the servers here. So just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. Hope we don't lose connection here. But the pace car lights are out. We're excited to get these guys back underway as we have just over, I do believe, 110 laps remaining. Stephen Hayes has been leading the most laps thus far, but I do believe Dale Brooks might have his number. I know before the caution flag did come out, he was turning laps that were faster than Stephen Hayes. Of course, this is going to reset everything, though. Everybody's going to have fresh tires. And they're going to be happy about that, considering they were struggling quite substantially on those older tires. We saw over a second of fall off from every driver, even the leader. And I would suspect that the guys that were struggling really, really late, they're probably going to be making some adjustments to those race cars or adjusting their driving style as well to maybe not prioritize being fast early, but having the late run. I think that's going to be a big deal here. I think that you got to prioritize that later run to take advantage of those guys that did burn their stuff up late. But here we go, exiting turn number 4. Barney, the pace car driver, is going to be dropping down pit road as Stephen Hayes prepares to get us back up and running again. And there it is. Green flag is back out once again. Hayes waits until the last possible second to get going. Catches everybody off guard. Dale Brooks under fire from Michael Hayes for the second place position. Of course, Chad McGinley all over the back bumper of Michael Hayes. He was our pole sitter. You You see Jeff Weimer. He, of course, has been running really good. Was in third before the caution, so I think he lost some spots there during his pit stop. Looks like Michael Hayes and Dale Brooks still dueling here. Hayes on the bottom, Dale Brooks on the top. And the more that these guys battle side by side, ooh, Stephen Gerber going through the grass. I don't think you're supposed to shortcut it that much, Gerb. As he does successfully make it back onto the racing surface. He is going to lose a lot of time, though, based on that. Even though he cut out quite a bit of the real estate, he definitely did not do it very quickly. As we take a replay to see exactly what happened here. And it looks like he might have had some contact, maybe some help. Let's see. Oh, yeah, definitely had some help. EJ Luna, I think, got into the outside wall, bounced down into Gerber. So that is unfortunate for Steve Gerber. Kind of no fault of his own. Had no real choice in the matter. As we see side by side, Chad McGinley and Michael Hayes. Of course, Dale Brooks was able to get the pass completed and is going to try his best to get up there to Stephen Hayes. Has about 9/10 of a second in between them. Looks like they have single filed out for the most part in the top 10. You see a little bit of side-by-side, a little bit further up. Bobby Mantle under fire from David Holsey in the 57 machine. Mark Royce, who started on the outside pole, now on the inside of EJ Luna, trying to see if he can't get back up into 9th right now. And Brian Ricker, right on the edge of the top 10. Haven't talked a whole lot about that driver so far tonight, the 45. What a camera angle we have here from the 5 Aces machine of David Holsey. He has a good view of Mark Royce battling with EJ Luna. And look at the closing rate from Mark Royce on the entrance to the corner. And I think that's why Royce is struggling on the longer runs. I feel like he's driving it in way too deep. This is not a track that you would want to do that. I think that's a huge sacrifice that you're making by driving it in really deep. And also hurts your exit speed at a track like this. So we'll have to see, does that continue to affect that 50 machine. Of course, David Holsey trying to hold off a gaggle of race cars. Mantle, Royce, EJ Luna, Camper, Ricker, and Don Blazier. Of course, Blazier, I think, took a pretty good excursion into the grass earlier in the race and is back in it in 13th. So good recovery there for him. Also looking a little bit further, Michael Hayes is taking the 2nd spot away from Dale Brooks. So I thought Dale Brooks was really the only one that had a chance. But here we go. He's coming back to the inside as we actually take a replay on how he made this pass happen. And I think Brooks might have, got incredibly close to the wall. I think he had to get out of the gas, which slowed him down. And that is how we see that Michael Hayes is able to make that pass stick. Now coming back to the live portion of the race here, we see Brooks is now trying to get the position back. And I think he's going to successfully do it. Slides right up in front of Michael Hayes. This is also going to bring Jeff Weimer into the fray in the battle for the top 3 positions. Here comes Weimer to the inside of Hayes. What a race this has been, and we're only closing in on about that 50 lap mark, so still a lot of action left to come, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to us here on Grid Vision, as it looks like Jeff Weimer has moved up into the 3rd place position. Here comes Jeremy Richmond, going to be trying to get my Chad McGinley here for that 5th place spot. Of course, McGinley started up on the pole. I've said that a lot, and I'll say it again. He started on the pole, and but even though this is a racetrack that is, it really, you prioritize track position, where you start out. That is important. That is important. It very much is. But if you do not have the race pace, it won't matter, because you will get past, and everybody, it's going to be difficult. You have to have race pace. As we see 3 wide for a second there. EJ Luna, I do believe, was just 3 wide. I think I saw EJ Luna, Bobby Mantle, and Mark Royce possibly 3 wide, as we actually see the battle still raging for that 2nd place position. They have actually, looks like 3 wide no longer, but EJ Luna is still battling with Mark Royce. See, Luna is starting to be a little bit slower on the bottom line. Here comes Josh Camper, going to try to work his way back up into the top 10. This is where a lot of the battling has been taking place, is up in the top 10, and we've seen crossover after crossover for that third place position. Jeff Weimer and Michael Hayes. We keep seeing Hayes jump. Look, here he comes again. Crossover number 4, I think. We've seen Weimer up in front of Hayes. We've seen Hayes up in front of Weimer. I mean, it's a revolving door, and eventually I think Jeremy Richmond is going to say enough is enough, and he is going to take 2-for-1 special here. And here comes Hayes. Does he get clear? And I think he will, and he moves back up in front of Jeff Weimer. Oh, Richmond almost hits Weimer and almost takes himself a ride through the grass. Luckily, he was able to have the race awareness to not do that. Oh, we got some big problems here. Joshua Slade, I believe Justin LeBlanc, and Don Blazier, Stephen Knight, all off the racetrack in the grass. No caution. Let's take a look and see what happened here. They were 3 wide. And it looks like Don Blazier kind of came up on LeBlanc. I don't know if he realized they were 3 wide, but that took a multitude of cars off the racetrack and into the inside wall. I think we're going to have to take another look at that to see exactly what happened here. That was wow. That was one. It's shocking that did not cause caution, but if they go off the track, of course, it does not cause a caution, but that is going to be a huge penalty for a lot of those drivers as we take another look at it. And this will be a little bit more of a top-down view here. We see they're 3 wide, or getting ready to go 3 wide. LeBlanc goes into the middle. Oh, it almost looks, I was thinking that Don Blazier might have came up onto LeBlanc, but I feel like LeBlanc came down. It might have been a meet-in-the-middle situation. But either way, it caused a catastrophe on the backstretch. And that is going to be an unfortunate thing for sure. We do see, I do believe, someone still on pit road. That is Joshua Slade. And, of course, Stephen Knight also still on pit road. He's actually out of his race car. LeBlanc, I do believe, trying to get some damage repaired as well. Wow. What a mess. Going back to the race at hand, Stephen Hayes out front with about a second up on Dale Brooks. Last time by, he was almost a 10th faster than Brooks. Of course, Michael Hayes, who was battling with Jeff Weimer for quite a bit, because they battled so much, Dale Brooks pulled away to a second now. Michael Hayes did end up finally winning that battle, as we see quite a big battle here for, I do believe, the 10th spot. E.J. Luna trying to hold on to that top 10 position. And, of course, Austin McGill, who spun early in this race, has had a very significant recovery, is now up into possibly getting back up into the top 10. He had a wonderful race last week, almost won it, if I'm not mistaken. And definitely wants to try to keep that momentum going. As you can see, he's trying to ride that apron now. That's something we haven't talked a whole lot about. You know, a lot of racetracks, you have that option to kind of go down on the apron on the front stretch. This is a racetrack. I don't know if I would want to do that, but I mean, it seems like it works out for some drivers. A lot of times, every racetrack, in my opinion, when you use that apron, it seems like it burns your equipment up a little bit prematurely. We do have some activity in chat. Appreciate you, Dale Brooks Sr., for saying hello. Hello to you as well. Hope you're having a great day today. As we see the battle raging on now for that 5th place position. Jeremy Richmond and David Holsey side by side. And it looks like Richmond, he's getting a good run on the high side. But Holsey, I think we've seen it time and time again. This bottom side seems to be the preferred line when you're side by side. Whoa, they were getting close to one another. Jeremy Richmond slamming the door closed on the 57. That could have ended up with both of those guys ended up wrecked. They were so inches from hitting one another there. Wow, this has been such an exciting race thus far. But I'll tell you who has been the most dominant driver thus far has been Stephen Hayes. 1.4 seconds is his lead at the moment over Dale Brooks. I don't think there's anyone that has anything for this 13. I feel like he is the best out here thus far. Now, of course, we've seen the sun actually go down on the racetrack. Curious how that has affected the temperature. And looking at it, actually hasn't affected the temperature really at all. It's actually gotten hotter. It was 84 degrees trackside when we began this race. It is now 85. So it's who would have thought it gets hotter when the sun goes down? That's weird. But the battle still rages on, though, for the 5th place position. Jeremy Richmond and David Holsey still dueling for that spot. Some other close battles on the racetrack is, I do believe, Austin McGill and Bobby Mantle battling for the 9th place position. You see, Halsey seems like he's wanting to push him out of the way, but like I said, going back to this battle here, also see E.J. Luna and William Brown. We haven't talked a whole lot about the 27 of William Brown. As we take a look on the back end of McGill, you can actually see William Brown going side by side, I do believe, with E.J. Luna. William Brown, I've talked about him before. He is a very consistent driver, very, very fast, but very good on old tires. So I do expect he's gonna be in the picture here. He's gonna be one that we're gonna talk about at some point in this race, or he's gonna be really making his name, his presence known. He always does, but I have not seen him in quite a long time. And we have had quite a few changes to this NASCAR truck since he was in competition last. Now, could those changes really throw him a curveball? It seems like he's doing okay, though, at the moment. And for the most part, there's not a whole lot of side-by-side going on right now. I think a lot of these drivers have kind of started single filing out. Of course, Austin McGill, here he comes. Going to be seeing if he can't get by Mark Royce. Of course, Royce started on the outside pole. Austin McGill started, I believe, somewhere in the top 10. He had an issue where he spun into the grass. Had to fight his way back up here. 64 laps into this race, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, fall off has reared its ugly head once again, as we have, I do believe, 31 threes from a lot of these drivers, even 31 fives from some others. These guys' best laps were 30.3, so almost a second of fall off already again here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're only 28 laps into this run, into this stint. Let's do a quick rundown through the top 10 once again. Stephen Hayes is in the lead by 1.5 seconds. Dale Brooks sits in that 2nd place position. Of course, 3rd place, Michael Hayes. 4th place, Jeff Weimer. 5th place, Jeremy Richmond. 6th place, David Holsey. 7th, Chad McGinley. 8th, Austin McGill. 9th, Mark Royce. And first time in the top 10, William Brown, as he has just gotten by, of course, Bobby Mantle. Here comes E.J. Luna. He's going to see if he can't get by Bobby Mantle as well. And while we have a moment, I do want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors here in Grid Vision. Want to reach the top? Reaper Speed Lab is your one-stop shop for quality setups in the oval racing scene. Established in 2020, Reaper Speed Lab's goal is to offer a competitive setup for all of your oval racing needs. From the top 3 eNASCAR series to the short track competition to late models, modifieds, and Legends cars, visit ReaperSpeedLab.com for more information. Reaper Speed Lab, where top split lives. And it looks like maybe some issues for David Holsey. I think David Holsey might have just had an issue. Maybe he's having some blinking. He's not in the race car. Up in the top 10 is now scored a lap down. That is going to be an unfortunate thing. That is heartbreaker. And those are the kind of things I talked about earlier about David Holsey always kind of finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, that's another instance of that right there. Just bad luck. I guess that one technically is bad luck and having some technical difficulties. You hate to see that for that driver. So we're now 69 coming to 70 laps into this race. At the moment, there are 16 drivers remaining on the lead lap. Of course, speaking of guys that have retired, Stephen Knight has retired, as well as Joshua Slade, after that big incident we saw earlier in the competition. William Brown, we keep talking about him. He is now up to 8th place. He just got by, I do believe, some other drivers, so that's the highest he's ran so far. Last time we looked at him, he was in 10th. Of course, Mark Royce back in now 10th place himself. Definitely, yup, looks like just got word David Holsey has dropped connection due to upload packet loss, which means his internet, I do believe, failed on him. That is a heartbreaker for that team there, especially how fast they were here. So definitely our condolences to that race. I hate that for him because, I mean, I always root for that 57. Such a nice guy, such a talented driver as well. Of course, looking up to the front, I'm looking at Dale Brooks. He's been making some progress here. 1.6 seconds is his gap to Stephen Hayes. Last time by, he was about a 10th faster than him, so keep an eye on that. I mean, of course, last time by, I do believe Dale Brooks was one of the fastest guys on the racetrack. The fastest, though, was actually Austin McGill, if I'm not mistaken. And, of course, he's being followed by William Brown, who's pretty much around the same pace as well. So it looks like the further you actually get up to the front, the top 6 right now are actually slower than 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's kind of curious. I think that means that maybe the top 6 might be burning their equipment up. Definitely some great battling thus far. I keep having some issues here with my own connection. I hope I don't get a throughput error. But definitely has been some great battling thus far. We definitely appreciate as well everybody tuning in on this Sunday. As I mentioned before, you could choose anything to do on a Sunday afternoon, but you chose to spend it here with us on Grid Vision, watching the Global Racing Truck Series. Appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Make sure you comment also in the comments. Who are you rooting for? Who do you want to see up in victory lane, whether it be a friend or family that you're here to see? We definitely love to hear about it. And a lot of these drivers, a bunch of them, the majority of them actually, go back and watch these races. And they, of course, check out the comments. And they're like, okay, who was supporting me? And they see your name, represented and you shouting them out. That a lot of times means a lot to them. And then it might even equate to them performing better the next race that they are in because they know you're out there watching and supporting them. Looking at the battle now for 6th place, Austin McGill getting by Chad McGinley. And that is going to put him up into that 6th place position. He's got about 6/10 to get up there to Jeremy Richmond. And I think he could do it. I mean, looking at his lap times, he's about a 10th faster than Richmond, even being side by side. Actually, last time by Richmond, significantly off the pace, to be honest with you. Jeremy Richmond, 31.9. That's a second and a half slower than what everybody around, or than his fastest lap. He's about a half a second slower than a lot of the drivers around him. Also want to mention Mark Royce dropping through the field like a rocket. Oh, green flag stops, I think, are underway as Richmond is coming down here. That was a scary, whoa, that was close. That could have easily ended with a accident there because you saw Austin McGill almost ran right into the back of the 98. And, of course, Mark Royce coming off of pit road. Let's take a look back at that very, very close call. You see right here, we're in the middle of 3 and 4. We're looking at through Austin McGill's eyes, and look at it. Wow. He inches from just smashing into the rear of that 98. And you know what causes things like that? Lack of communication. And I mean, I'm not going against the league or anything. I like what they do when it comes to the no talking in the race chat or the voice chat in the actual iRacing session. That you're limited to only be able to talk to your team. I like that. But one of the disadvantages of that, oh, looks like Michael Lester taking a trip through the grass. One of the disadvantages of that, though, is that you can't warn someone when you're pitting. You know, and that's a huge thing. It really does help out quite a bit when you can warn someone that you're pitting. As we take a look back and see exactly what went wrong here for Lester. I think he was all by himself on the racetrack. I don't think anything really, I think he just got loose here. That's interesting. It didn't even really look like he got loose. That's an interesting wreck there. I mean, maybe he got loose, just didn't look like he did. Might have just was frustrated and decided to park it. I'm going to take the quick way to the pits. Of course, Michael Lester is 2 laps down. There's only actually 12 drivers that are on the lead lap. Of course, that 12th driver is Kenny Heath, and eventually I think he's going to end up going a lap down. And I will say I'm not too disappointed with what Kenny Heath's doing tonight. A lot of times he has a lot of struggles. He just doesn't seem like he gets the rhythm of some of these more difficult racetracks. But I'll tell you tonight, he doesn't look too bad. I mean, he's not, you know, the quickest car out there by any means, but he's sticking with it. And I gotta say, I'm impressed with that. Looks like we do have EJ Luna coming down pit road. So green flag stops are definitely underway. We were told that the window was about 55 to 60. A lot of these guys have pitted way earlier than that, which is kind of surprising. But then again, I think with how much they're struggling, maybe it's not as surprising. Michael Hayes is still out there, or Stephen Hayes, and he's not really slowing down at all. He's plateaued at about a 31.5, and I think his setup seems like it's about the best one here at the moment. But then again, I think Austin McGill, I'd keep an eye out for that 99, because he actually last time by was a couple hundredths faster than that driver. So definitely curious to see if a caution or something like that comes out, or if Austin can consistently run good laps over and over and over again. He might have a chance, but it's going to be a tough one, just considering the gaps between Stephen Hayes and Austin McGill right now are 6.5 seconds. That is quite a long ways on this racetrack. So everybody that's out here right now is about 46 laps on their equipment. So I think this is about as far as we've seen thus far when it comes to how much tire wear is out here. Of course, Stephen Hayes is catching up now to Kenny Heath, and is going to be putting him a lap down. Heath running the bottom side. I think he's just going to let him go right on by, and that is going to put, I do believe, 10 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Next driver that could go a lap down would be Josh Camper. It's going to be quite a while before he does go a lap down, though, considering he is about 15 seconds behind our leader, Stephen Hayes. Curious to see these guys that pitted when they did. Of course, looking at the lap times, like you see like a guy like Michael Hayes, Jeremy Richmond, they're hitting 30.4 right now. Pretty fast laps. They're hitting really fast laps. Now, I think that they realize that they know they can't make it on just one stop from here. So I think that's what the thought process was. Like, hey, we'll split it and we know we have to pit twice. So let's just go ahead and pit, grab the new tires. Here comes Dale Brooks. I mean, you know, all these guys that are still out here on the racetrack, they're going to have to pit 2 more times. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. There's no point in really running it to the ragged edge if you can go down, get fresh set of tires. Tires seem like they mean quite a bit here today. So Dale Brooks making his decision. I think he was second place, so I think Stephen Hayes is going to notice that Dale Brooks went down, and probably that could influence him to maybe come down this time by. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of times when that second place guy goes, I don't think Stephen Hayes is going to want to be short pitted and maybe leapfrogged. Especially if Dale Brooks gets that clean air, it really could help him out quite a bit. As we're 50 laps into this run, and at the moment, I do believe only 10 drivers are on the lead lap. Actually, no, 8 drivers. Taking a look, we got our pit stop graphic up as well. It kind of shows you a little bit of a visual aid. Michael Lester has left the race car. I do want to update everybody on that. So I think that he maybe has been struggling. So that's unfortunate for him. Of course, I think Stephen Hayes slows down a little bit. Is he coming down? No, he stays out again. He is really trying to go as long as he possibly can. I don't know if I'd do this. I just feel like, well, maybe if you can make it to 60, if you can make it to 60 laps, he could maybe one-stop this. I think that might be what he's trying to do. That's going to be hard to do, though. From what I've heard, is 55 to 60. It just really depends on if you're saving, I'd say. And him being in the cleaner air, he's going to be burning a little bit more fuel. This is a tough one. This is a tough one, ladies and gentlemen. I love races that come down to this, though. If Stephen Hayes is on this alternate strategy and can make it just on one stop from here, he probably will win this race if he can do that. I mean, he's had the long run pace. Do you believe Brian Ricker possibly coming to pit road? Had a slow lap. We do see a cluster of race cars here. Ooh, this could be where the cause of the accident, the scene of the crash. As I do believe that is Steve Gerber was in the middle of this hornet's nest. Is just getting past. I do believe that is Jeff Weimer's. Hard to see. He's got some right side damage there, or left side damage. Here comes Brian Ricker coming down pit road, hitting from the 8th place position. Also Don Blazier coming down pit road. Of course, Blazier, we got a replay, so maybe I think Blazier might actually had something go wrong here. Oh yeah, this could have easily been a caution, but he turned down. He looked like he was getting ready to come back up onto the track. But luckily, he had the decency to turn down instead of up. So that's unfortunate there for him, as we see Brian Ricker coming off of pit road. 92 laps down, or shouldn't say, Brian Ricker's not 92 laps down. I'm saying that we have done 92 laps here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And it has been a fine race here at this 1.33 mile, quote, super speedway, quote. I do like this track, though. These guys definitely are putting on a really good show thus far. I'll tell you, Stephen Hayes, though, has been the dominator. As we look back, I think we're looking at William Brown. He's now up to 3rd. First time he's been up here. He's about 10 seconds back from our leader, though. And I do believe he's got Chad McGinley all over his back bumper. Last time by, though, William Brown was about a little over a 10th faster than McGinley. So I do believe that must have been just a pass just happened there for that 3rd spot. Now Stephen Hayes is 57 laps on his run thus far. Can he make it to 60? I think it's pretty a safe bet. He can make it to the end on one stop. And I wonder why no one else, because the majority of drivers have already kind of gotten their pit stops in. But it's just kind of odd. I think that maybe their setups just didn't let them. That maybe they just, or their driving stop, it might not even been set up. It could have just been they were driving it too hard. But Stephen Hayes has really had the ability to continue to run and not burn his stuff up quite as much. But then again, look, last time by, Austin McGill, 31.681 versus Stephen Hayes' 31.815. And here comes McGill. He's coming down pit road. 2nd place is now pitting. He will be able to make it to the end on fuel here. I think this should provoke Stephen Hayes to come down as well. And here we go. Yep, it does. Stephen Hayes, our leader, now coming to pit road. I think that will leave only 5 drivers that have yet to pit. No, here comes William Brown as well. Oh, William Brown almost loses it coming to pit road. Wow, able to catch it, though. He was drifting that thing into pit road. Taking a look back, and you can see what happened. He almost lost it here as he comes to pit road. Catches a little bit of the apron. has 2 tires on the actual track and 2 on the apron. No, it didn't look. From where I saw it, it looked a lot worse than it was. But definitely a good job, good save there for him to be able to keep that under control. Of course, our pole sitter today, Chad McGinley, started at the top of the board. Now it's back to the top of the board. Here comes Steve Gerber to pit road, pitting from that 3rd place position. Hometown Minneapolis. I never heard of Minneapolis. Heard of Indianapolis, not Minneapolis. Really? Steve Gerberdo going to be dropping down the running order here. Now, when is Chad McGinley going to be coming down? I think it's the main question. Here comes Bobby Mantle pitting from 2nd place. We are verging. Here comes Josh Camper. Verging on 100 laps in, ladies and gentlemen. That means we're going to have soon 50 laps remaining. And I do believe the last person to pit here is Chad McGinley. Everyone else has at least been to pit road. But then again, keep in mind, a lot of those guys that pitted on that alternate strategy will not make it to the end. They're going to have to stop again. I think maybe Dale Brooks. I don't think Dale Brooks is going to make it to the end either. He's going to have to stop again. I don't know why these guys chose to pit in such a way. Maybe they think a caution's going to come out. That's the only way I think that this works out. As you can see, the visual aid here. We know Chad McGinley will make it on fuel from here. He is now coming to pit road. And that should put Michael Hayes as the leader. Of course, Michael Hayes did short pit by quite a bit. He is followed not too far back by Dale Brooks. And since we have now had the, of course, pit cycles kind of completed here, I think now's a great time to take a brief commercial break. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the race here with the Global Racing Truck Series at Nashville Superspeedway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grid Vision's presentation of the Global Racing Truck Series. And, of course, we just had a caution with 46 laps to go. We're going to take a quick look back at it. It looks like Josh Camford and David Halsey having some issues. I do believe David Holsey kicking it off, maybe by hitting. Oh, this is an odd one. Looks like Holsey was going quite a bit slower than Camphor, and I just don't think Camphor was expecting him to be going that slow. It was not a hard hit, luckily, so both of those trucks should still be able to function properly. That was definitely an interesting one, to say the least, and that is going to reset, I do believe, the entire strategy here. You see right here, Holsey's going pretty slow. Camphor thinks that he's going to try to pass him on the top, but I don't think Holsey knew he was coming. So, unfortunately, they're definitely going to be wanting to probably look back at that replay there. I'm sure Holsey's like, what the heck? Or both of them are probably a little bit upset about it. We do see some guys drop in on pit road, take a, looks like fuel only there from Mark Royce. Well, no, 14 seconds in the box. I think everybody, for the most part, yes, we're pretty much seeing a massive reset for pit sequences here. So this is interesting. I kind of thought that Stephen Hayes, you know, we saw him and Chad McGinley, those guys stay out long. And we're going to have to, you know, it was going to come down to a pit strategy. That is now not the case. This has really reset the whole board. And I think the person that this helps out the most is Dale Brooks. He is now up in the lead. And with the clean air, you do not give Dale Brooks clean air and expect to get that lead back. I just think this is going to be a tough one. Of course, I do believe Dale Brooks, if I'm not mistaken, won last week's race. Would not be surprised to see him win again. And that would make 5 wins on the season. And that would, I think that if you even added up all of the other winners, they would just barely equal what Dale Brooks has if he wins this race. And that is quite a statistic. I mean, Brooks has always been a danger, or should I say, always been one that is very capable of winning. Every time, I know he was used to be very heavily into the military service. I do believe the Navy, if I'm not mistaken. Was not really able to run a full-time season. So, but every time he came back from his, you know, had some off time from his Navy career, every race he signed up for here in the Global Racing Truck Series, he would pretty much win it. And now that he is in full-time competition, these guys, I don't know if they got much of a chance, because this guy has just been on it this season. And I'm sure we talked about Dale Brooks Sr. saying hello to us in the chat earlier. Well, I guarantee you he's very proud of his son, Dale Brooks Jr. here. Pace car lights are going out here. It looks like everybody's going to be getting doubled up. I'll tell you, this caution really helped out EJ Luna as well. I think first time he's up in the top 3 now. Helped Mark Royce get some track position back. I probably said it 5 times today. He started on the outside pole. Mark Royce did, but he fell outside of the top 10, and he is now back up to 5th. So good for him. Hopefully they made some really good adjustments. Austin McGill, he's been really, really fast. I don't think this caution actually helped him. He was actually up in the top 5 before the caution came out. So it helps some guys, it hurts some others. So we'll have to see what happens here. I have a good sneaking suspicion that this is going to be wild and crazy and aggressive. As here we go, pace car is getting ready to take that left turn down pit road as we come to 42 laps to go here in a 150 lap race. Let's see, what does Dale Brooks have in store for us? As the green flag is back out once again. Brooks with a really good start. Michael Hayes with a good start as well, is able to get second place away from EJ Luna. EJ Luna just did not get going, and he is now under fire for possibly losing third. As Stephen Hayes, the one that has absolutely dominated this race, is going to be desperate to try to get back up there to Dale Brooks to get his throne back. He says, give me my crown, I am coming. He goes really wide, though. You got to keep in mind, ooh. Oh, there's problems. I do believe that is William Brown. Issues, big issues for some drivers. William Brown, Brian Ricker, both through the grass. Heavy contact. As it looks like Ricker comes back up onto the racetrack. No caution as of yet. They are still rolling. Man, that was crazy. That is unfortunate for those two. Battle is on, though, right now for that fifth spot. EJ Luna and Austin McGill dueling at the moment. As we take a look at the, I do believe, the replay of that accident. See exactly what happened here. And I think it all started from Jeremy Richmond, maybe? Richmond actually went through the grass here at the same time. I don't think this had anything to do with this. But it's just a separate incident there. So that's interesting that we saw another incident at the same exact time. Here goes, yeah, oh, there it is. See William Brown and Brian Ricker. Oh, a heavy hit on the front end, I do believe, of Josh Camphor. Man, you hate to see that. But here comes Stephen Hayes. Michael Hayes is actually taking the lead from Dale Brooks. Here comes Stephen Hayes. The Hayes brothers are in full domination mode here tonight. Also, Mark Royce and Austin McGill battling for the fourth place position. The racing is starting to really heat up, ladies and gentlemen, as here comes Hayes. Can he get past Brooks? Brooks is not going to make it easy for him. I guarantee you that. But Hayes has shown that he has the best truck here. I think if I was Michael Hayes, or Stephen Hayes, I would try to be as patient as I can. I would just hang out behind Brooks. Just stay behind him and wait for the moment. You have to wait for that perfect moment to strike. If you battle too hard and you chase that carrot too much, you're not going to have anything left in order to try to get by Dale Brooks. But what a great day from Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes has not been in the lead all day long, but he is in the lead when it counts. And I'll tell you what, it really speaks. Stephen Hayes and Michael Hayes' performances here tonight really speak to how great their team has been performing all together. That being Lone Star Racing. We've seen those guys get a lot of wins this season, and this is their first season in competition, and they have just been out here taking care of business. Here comes Stephen Hayes to the inside. I think this might be the moment. But you see Brooks is doing a really good job at defending. I don't think he's going to defend it this time, though. You see that Stephen's getting a much better run on the exits. And 1 and 2, I think this is where Stephen Hayes is going to be maybe able to get this pass completed. No. Also see that William Brown has disconnected from competition. Man, it's just so hard to pass around this place. As we're now 35 laps to go. Lap time-wise, Hayes is about 0.2 faster than Dale Brooks. So somehow I'm surprised he's not able to get this pass completed. But the more he's battling, the more Mark Royce is coming into the picture. And here comes Royce. He's going to try to work his way back up into the top 3. He is followed right behind by Austin McGill. This is allowing Michael Hayes to get out to about a half a second of a lead. I have got to say, I know Stephen Hayes has got to be feeling just so frustrated right now. And I think another thing that is really hurting that 13 as well is that he's been in clean air all race long. And now he has been in dirty air. So I don't think he was used to that. I think that has been really hurting him. That is one unfortunate thing. You know, when you get used to that clean air for too long, a lot of times that does mess with you. Look at how close these guys get to that wall as we see Austin McGill trying to make something happen on Mark Royce. It's been such great racing here at Nashville Superspeedway. I don't care if they got the name wrong. It's been a great race. looks like Austin McGill does get the pass completed. He is now up to 4th. Now he's going to try to see if he can't get up there and maybe work around and get by Stephen Hayes. Now, Austin McGill has been one of the only drivers that I think has been able to match Stephen Hayes' pace on the long run. I'm wondering if even, we talked about the clean air for Stephen Hayes. Is that hurting him, or, dirty air now? Is that hurting him? I think that maybe could he have even made an adjustment to that race car too that is affecting him. Last time by though, Dale Brooks was about a 30.499 lap time, so he is starting to catch up to Michael Hayes. I do want to do a quick rundown through the top 10. Of course, Michael Hayes up in the lead at the moment. Dale Brooks sits in 2nd place. Stephen Hayes in 3rd. Austin McGill in 4th. Mark Royce 5th. 6th place Jeff Weimer. 7th place E.J. Luna. 8th Bobby Mantle. 9th Chad McGinley. And 10th Steve Gerber. We have seen quite a bit of attrition here tonight. At the moment, there's only 12 drivers on the lead laps. We see Mark Royce actually getting passed by Jeff Weimer. The highest Weimer has been so far, I do believe today, was up in 2nd. He is now back up into 5th. E.J. Luna is going to be coming up to see if he can't possibly take away this position from Royce. Now, Royce, I've noticed this. He has got an issue to where he's not as good on the long runs, and I can see exactly why, because he runs so hard in the early portions and is so fast. But then right now, at this moment, this is when he starts to struggle. Last time by, 31.1 lap time versus the guys that are around him. They're about 0.2 faster than him because he burns his stuff up. So I'm hoping, Mark Royce, if you go back and watch this broadcast, learn from that. But Michael Hayes still out front, actually has built on his lead. Almost 7/10 now on Dale Brooks as we're coming closer and closer to almost 25 to go here. Next time by, it'll be 26 laps to go. And look at how close lap time wise the top 5 are right now. I mean, these guys are all lap time wise within 1/10 of each other, as E.J. Luna is really desperate to take away the spot from Mark Royce. Side by side for 6th place, and EJ is going to make the pass happen. Yep, I tell you, Mark Royce is struggling. He's not that good on the long runs. It's because he just is so desperate to get positions early. You cannot have that short run mentality. You have to think about the long run. Mark Royce has so much potential, such a fast driver. But I think what makes a great driver great is being able to have, be able to make that sacrifice on the shorter runs in order to have the long run. Michael Hayes, of course, back up to now 0.8 of a second on Dale Brooks. Now that he has the lead, it's going to be very difficult to take this away from him. I guarantee you, Stephen Hayes is probably hating the fact that a caution came out at about 50 or 45 to go. If that caution had never came out, I do believe Stephen Hayes would still be in the lead. But that's the nature of racing. I have seen it time and time and time again, where my favorite driver will be in the lead all race long, and things don't work out at the end. It happens over and over and over again. That's just kind of the nature of racing, unfortunately. But as long as, you just kind of got to be content that you've got a good finish and some good points. And Stephen Hayes, if he keeps on the way he's going right now, he will get a good finish and some good points. But it does have to be, I mean, you can't blame someone for being frustrated when they lead almost the entire race, and then at the end something happens that takes that lead away from them. I mean, that is just, ugh. But of course, if anybody was going to win this race that was not me, I'd want it to be my brother. So I guess that's one good part about it. course, Michael Hayes definitely, him and his brother always seem to match each other step for step. Definitely a big shout out to Austin Derbyshire for all the great camera work he does here. I don't think the race is quite over yet, though, when it comes to changing in positions. I think Austin McGill might possibly get up there to Stephen Hayes. They're very close on lap times. It's really amazing to see how close all these drivers are on lap times. Of course, 12 drivers still on the lead lap. Brian Ricker, our last driver, on the lead lap. Ooh, Austin McGill, a little touch on the wall there, as we're now 20 laps to go. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed the race here today. I'll tell you what, I sure have, and it is going to be a nice way to get hyped up for the Nashville Superspeedway race here in just an hour or so. If it's anything like this, I think we're in for a spectacular show. At least I'll be able to rest my voice during that one, considering I've been by myself during this one here today. I appreciate y'all bearing with that fact. I know a lot of times Brian's voice can get, or my voice, I'm not talking about myself in the third person, ladies and gentlemen, but a lot of times just hearing just me, I tell you what, I'm sure it can't be fun. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and tuning in with us as we come down to 18 to go. Michael Hayes in 18 laps. Can he be the victor? Do we see a late race caution? It is definitely a possibility. I'm noticing Michael Hayes a little bit of a different paint scheme as well. Hayes Building Service. Looks like they have a, definitely shout that out for sure. Looks like they have some their own businesses and stuff like that. And that's one good thing about the iRacing service is that if you have your own business, you can kind of represent and promote yourself on your race car, which is really cool. I know we love that here at Grid Vision as well. We have some drivers that run our logos, maybe looking to expand more into that. Speaking of promotion, I do want to promote another one of our sponsors here. And that being Team Watson Racing Setups. Of course, Team Watson offers out-of-the-box fast setups that are proven to win no matter what split you're competing in, and are trusted by many top-level oval racers. If you are looking to take your iRacing career to the next level, check out TeamWatsonRacing.com. They definitely have some fast setups there at Team Watson. I know one of our truck builders actually in Road to Pro has made it to round 2. So I know that's a big thing for sure. We'd love to have you try out our setups. As we come to 15 laps to go, I think Michael Hayes feeling pretty confident right now. I don't know though. Looking at last time by, Dale Brooks was about a 1/10.5 faster. What does that mean? Does he have enough time? If he can continue to be a 1/10.5 faster, I think that he does have enough time to get up there to Michael Hayes and make this interesting to maybe take the lead away. You can see Hayes is going a little bit wider, a little bit higher through these corners. And I think, I have a sneaking suspicion that Michael Hayes is looking in his rearview mirror. And this is not the track to do that. You really have to hit your marks. Focus ahead. But when you have a guy like Dale Brooks that's behind you, it's hard to not look in your rearview mirror. Last time by, once again, Brooks was about a 1/10.5 faster. So this could get very interesting. And Stephen Hayes is right there as well. If Dale Brooks gets up there and battles with Michael and something goes wrong, Stephen Hayes is going to be right there to possibly clean up. .5 separate first and second right now. Of course, Stephen Hayes is about 3/10 back from Dale Brooks. The gap is still ever closing down. Oh, Michael Hayes getting incredibly loose out of turn 4. He was drifting that thing, and that has allowed Dale Brooks to come up to now 2/10s. You can tell that the pressure is starting to mount on Michael Hayes. Pressure either bursts pipes or makes diamonds, and I think it's getting ready to burst a pipe here. Brooks has gotten into now 10th. He is right on the back bumper of the one machine. You can tell, yeah, here he comes. Michael Hayes is getting loose off these corners. That car is not handling well. Side by side for the lead with 10 laps to go here in just a moment. And Dale Brooks is taking the lead from Michael Hayes. It's not over yet, though. Michael Hayes still has a nose. But I think Dale Brooks, yes, now is clear. Brother Stephen Hayes gets by Michael Hayes. It looks like Michael is very much struggling right now, and I think this could open the door for Austin McGill to get up into the top 3. I think Michael was just overdoing it. You know, when you have a guy like the 32 of Dale Brooks behind you, I think you tend to overdo it, to try to push that lead to where you feel a little bit easier when you have a little bit more of a buffer, but when you push that lead too much, oh, there goes Austin McGill sideways in the middle of the track now down into the grass. And he will lose all the spots he had gained back. Him and Michael Hayes, a little bit of contact there. If you take a replay and take a look, I think there was a little bit of contact there as Michael Hayes was trying to hold off Austin McGill. And look at this big run from Austin. I don't think that was necessarily Michael Hayes' fault. I think Austin just got a little too overzealous there. Had a huge run on Michael Hayes. Man, and he took a tow. And that is going to drop him all the way back to now 15th. As Dale Brooks in firm control of this race. Such a dynamite season this 32 has had. That is definitely interesting to see that late race drama there from Austin McGill. Had the opportunity to finish in the top 3, but I think just got a little overexcited. If he had just been a little bit more patient, he would have got by Michael Hayes very easily. Michael Hayes, I did see him. He got up into the wall a little bit, but he did not come down and really get Austin McGill. Oh, Dale Brooks into the outside wall a little bit there. Stephen Hayes as well. That's interesting. I don't think it did too much damage, luckily. It just shows these guys are starting to struggle. 39 laps into this stint, coming to 5 laps to go. And there is some lap traffic ahead as well. Dale Brooks is coming up on Ricky Hudgens. Of course, Ricky Hudgens is 2 laps down, soon to go 3. And here comes Brooks to the inside. And he's going to make that pass fairly easy. Of course, Ricky Hudgens and Dale Brooks are on the same team. Does Hudgens make it a little bit harder on Stephen Hayes? I doubt it. Why would you need to? There's a second in between these two drivers. But here we go. 4 laps to go. Next time by 3 to go. Do we make it to the white flag? It looks like Ricky Hudgens is going to get right on out of the way here. No chance for Stephen Hayes really to catch Dale Brooks unless a caution comes out here, which everybody is fairly spread out at the moment. No real battles on the racetrack. Coming to now 2 laps to go. We cross the line this time by Dale Brooks over a second of a lead, and I think he is going to possibly get his 5th win of the season. And what a race for EJ Luna, up into 5th place. I talked about EJ Luna having bad luck constantly. Always seems to be fast, but always never able to put a whole race together. Today is going to be the difference, though, as EJ Luna seems like possibly he's going to come home in 5th, as Dale Brooks now coming to the white flag. And he will cross the line. And the white flag will wave. Next flag will end it. And here he comes. And there it is. White flag is waving. No caution's going to end this race here, ladies and gentlemen. Dale Brooks, all he has to do is make it a couple more corners. He makes it onto the backstretch. And now sets himself up for 3 and 4. And after that, it'll be smooth sailing. And Dale Brooks comes out of turn number 4 as your winner here at Nashville Superspeedway. And what a race for him, able to grab the dub. I do believe this makes 2 in a row, and it definitely makes 5 races this season. Wow. Definitely going to be celebrating this one, the whole Dirty South team. Also got to give a big shout out, though, to Lone Star Racing, grabbing a 2nd and 3rd place finish here. Dale Brooks going to come to the front stretch to celebrate in front of all these fans. I'm sure Dale Brooks Sr. feeling really proud at the moment. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap up our Martin Sports winning moment. Of course, Martin Sports, family owned in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. They've been open for over a decade and have proved to be the best provider of custom apparel for everyone. Whether you need apparel for your local sports team, business, special events, maybe even family reunion, they can definitely do it. And they, of course, use a process known as sublimation, which actually makes it to where it's unlimited colors and it holds up to repeated washing, unlimited washing, essentially. But not only that, but Martin Sports is a major brand in sim racing as well, providing top sim racing apparel for all of your needs, from specially crafted gloves, jersey, and even sim racing socks. Visit martinsports906.com today to get started and check out some of their gloves. And maybe if you have a personal project that you'd like completed, they could definitely take care of it. With that, we'll go ahead and run down through the final results for our race here at Nashville Superspeedway. Dale Brooks, of course, the winner. 2nd place goes to Stephen Hayes. 3rd place, Michael Hayes. 4th place, Jeff Weimer. 5th, EJ Luna. 6th, Mark Royce. 7th, Bobby Mantle. 8th, Chad McGinley. 9th, Stephen Gerber. 10th, Jeremy Richmond. 11th, Brian Ricker. 12th, Josh Camphor. 13th, Don Blazier. 14th, Austin McGill. 15th, Ricky Hudgens. 16th, Kenny Heath. 17th, David Holsey. 18th, Ronald Holmes. 19th, William Brown. Of course, 20th, Michael Lester. 21st, Justin LeBlanc. 22nd, Joshua Slade. And rounding out this 23-car field is Stephen Knight. With that, we'll go ahead and get right on into our post-race show. And, of course, first off, we're going to be talking to Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes, we got you up here in the booth. 3rd place, man. You almost had a win there. What was going through your mind when Dale Brooks was catching you there?
Man, I thought I was saving pretty good tires there. I mean, I was trying to manage the gap and all that, but the thing still got tight on me. And once you get tight here, it just can't drive it. Drive it how you want to. But
yeah, we kind of saw that. I kind of thought maybe you were getting a little. Were you looking in your rearview mirror too much? I thought maybe you were just kind of not paying attention to what was in front of you. Was that not the case?
No, I mean I wasn't looking at my mirror, but I was kind of glancing down at the relatives every now and then just to make sure that he wasn't catching me too much. But I mean, I had a good line. And I thought I was running good, but obviously it wasn't quite enough. And man, Dale and Steve, they were on another level all race.
And that's interesting too, because you and Steven, I know, are on the same team. Lone Star, were your setups different? Because I mean, it seemed like you struggled a little bit on the longer run, while Steven was really good on the long run.
Yeah, we kind of run the same setup, and we got different driving styles. Steve's obviously better on the long runs. I'm a little bit more aggressive and drive the corners a little bit more aggressively, so I kind of put myself in that position on a long run. But it was still a fun race. It was a hard track to run, but it was still fun.
Yeah, it definitely was fun for us to watch, Michael. Of course, we're going to be off next week for July 4th holiday. After that, we're coming back to Mid-Ohio road course racing. How you feeling about that?
Not good. I'm not good at road courses.
I hear that, brother.
You can write me down for a bad finish there.
Okay, well, hopefully you're able to surprise yourself. We look forward to seeing what you could do there, brother. Who can we give a shout out after your third place finish?
Shout out to Lone Star. I mean, I think we had 3 of us there in the top 5, so shout out to Lone Star. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting. Shout out to the league. I know we had a few cautions, but all in all, it was a pretty clean race. A lot of good racing.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely was a very clean race, especially for this racetrack. Thanks for your time, Michael, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, that was Michael Hayes, driver of the One Machine, finishing in third place. Next up is brother Steven. Almost won this race, Steven. What the heck? I mean, you almost won this race. You dominated. You absolutely dominated the race. You had about a 3-second gap or maybe even more than that before that caution with 45 laps to go came out. I guarantee you were upset when that caution came out, were you not?
Yeah, it's just, we get such long green flag runs, and you get lap down cars racing for dead last, wrecking each other. Is just no point for that crap. I mean, I definitely had the car, I had the strategy, I think. I mean, I had to stay out a couple more laps because I couldn't make it like Dale could, but I just feel like if I had those green flag laps at the end there, I could have caught him and won this thing and peeled it off, shipped it home, but just...
No, I think you would have, because Dale pitted about 10 laps before you did and was not going to be able to make it on fuel. You were going to be able to make it to the end on the 1 stop, while they were going to have to make it for 2 stops. So, I mean, I think you had the better strategy.
That's what I thought, but talking to Dale, he said he could make it, but I don't know. I definitely couldn't. I had to stay out longer, but yeah, I mean, I raced my heart out, ran my lines, and saved tires, and I tried my hardest out there.
Yeah, that's all you can do, and you definitely did what you could. You got yourself a second place, so I mean, it's a good points day for you for sure, and you've been doing better and better and better, and can't wait to see what the future holds for you. Of course, Mid-Ohio comes up in a couple weeks. I know we're going to be off this next week, but road course racing, do you feel confident there?
I've been starting to get a lot better at road course races, but we did this race last year and it was just a crapshoot, wrecking every single corner, but I think my skills have definitely improved at road courses, so I'd be happy taking a top 5 or a top 10 there, honestly.
All right, well, we definitely, you definitely are capable, I would assume. I mean, you've always been a fast guy. Who can we give a shout out to after your second place finish here, Steven?
Shout out Dale for the win, man. That was pretty fun racing there at the end. He definitely had it there, but good win. Michael Hayes, I'm better than you still, so eat it. The Lone Star Racing guys, we all did pretty good. Justin had a incident early on, which is unfortunate, but always fun racing with those guys. Shout out to you guys up in the booth, man. Love watching these things over and seeing what I can improve on and just, watching the race.
All right, well, thanks for your time, Steven. We'll see you in a couple weeks, brother. Happy July 4th.
Yep, thank you, Brian.
All right, that was Steven Hayes, driver of the 13 machine. Dominated this race, but unfortunately came home in second place. The man that stole the show, Dale Brooks, getting his 5th win this season. And am I correct? You won last week too, didn't you, Dale?
Nah,
Or
I
a
got
couple
wrecked
weeks
in the
ago?
I got wrecked in the first lap of Charlotte.
I thought you won. I must
No,
be
we
wrong.
ran Charlotte last. We ran Charlotte, and then I had back-to-back wins on North Wilkesboro and Gateway.
So you still are now at 5 wins though. So I've been the whole race long. I've been saying that wrong, and that's just my fault. Do apologize about that. But hey, at least people were knowing your name, Dale. You got 5 wins this season. That's more than everybody else. I mean, no one else. Everybody else has like 2 or 1. You have 5. How does that feel?
Feels good, Brian. A lot of it's, I think, some of them have been circumstantial. I think this one had it played out. I think Hayes probably would have caught me. It was going to be on fresher tires on that long run if we didn't get any cautions. But man, I got the race kind of fell in my lap right there, and then man, racing both of those Hayes boys, God, their cars were good today. I was trying to do everything in my power to keep Steven behind me on that last restart because I knew if he got in front of me, there's no way I was going to get around him. So I fought really hard to keep him behind me, and then I guess Michael's car started getting a little tight, so I saw him make a few mistakes, and I was slowly gaining on him. And then from there, I think Steven pushed maybe a little bit too hard there at the end to try to get around me and burnt up his stuff. I started pulling away once I got in the lead there, but yeah, just. Like I said, I'm not sure I would have won it. I don't know if I had the best truck, honestly. I think probably the Hayes boys did. But, sometimes luck just doesn't go your way, and it kind of fell my way today.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's luck, Dale. I really don't think it's luck. I mean, I've talked about all those years that of course I called some races, and you weren't able to really be a full-time person that competes in this. You weren't a regular competitor because of your service in the Navy, right? But now that you're back here full time, you're a championship favorite. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, last year I was in the championship hunt too, and then me and Halsey wrecked the Phoenix. So anything can happen, especially with the playoffs, how the playoffs are built. So just got to keep up the momentum, keep up bringing good trucks in every week, and just try to stay out of trouble and have clean races for sure.
100%. Of course, July 4th, we're going to be off. This coming Sunday. Sunday after that, we're at Mid-Ohio. How do you feel about that racetrack? Road course racing?
I love it. No, it'll be fun. It'll be a blast. You'll have your guys up there. I think Royce, Ott, and Austin McGill will be up there. Obviously, Halsey's good. I got a bunch of guys in here that are good at road courses. But you'll have your road course guys up there for sure that are going to be the ones to beat. William Brown, too, is a road course guy. He's just came back in the league. He's racing for Dirty South, so we'll see. We've got to go out there with a good truck and be consistent, stay on the track, and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the key there at Mid-Ohio. Of course, you have won here tonight at Nashville Superspeedway. Who can we give a shout-out to after this one?
Obviously, again, always give Grid Vision a shout-out. It's awesome to be able to watch these races back and appreciate what you guys do, you and especially Austin Derbyshire with the cameras and everything. So really appreciate
especially
you guys.
Him. Okay, all right.
Okay. And then, as usual, got to give a huge shout out to my family, which I just got home last night. I was in New Hampshire for the whole week, so I got home last night around midnight. But huge shout out to them. Love them. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, and actually my mom's birthday is tomorrow. So big shout out to her. Love you, Mom, and this win's for you for sure. And big shout out to my team, Dirty South, especially Jeff Weimer this week. Like I said, I wasn't able to get any time in until this morning, and Jeff, hooked me up with a setup that was, pretty much spot on from the beginning. I think I made a couple tire pressure adjustments, and other than that, it ran great. So huge shout out to him. Definitely appreciate him with the setup and just my whole team, Ricky Hudgens, Brian Ricker, and William Brown and Jeff Weimer. And then just appreciate everybody in the league showing up every week and coming out here and putting on a good show.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Dale. Congratulations always. We always root for you a little bit. I'm a little bit biased, Dale, but great job to you, man. And hopefully you have yourself a good rest of your weekend, and happy 4th of July as well.
I appreciate it, Brian. You guys have a great time.
Alrighty, that was Dale Brooks, our winner here tonight. Definitely always puts on a great show. And what a great show everybody out here put on. I mean, that was a pretty good race, very clean. We did have our fair share of drama there towards the end, and I love a drama race that has some drama, that's for sure. But we definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in for sure. Big shout out to Austin Derbyshire for, as Dale said, putting on a great show with the presentation and everything like that, and doing the camera angles. Really awesome to see all of that, and a lot of the things out there that happen on the racetrack that I miss, he is catching, and we definitely appreciate that for sure. And we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. We definitely, I've said definitely probably about 10 times in the last 5 minutes, but we definitely do appreciate y'all tuning in. Without you, we wouldn't be doing this. Of course, big shout out to all the family members and supporters and things like that. Big shout out to the league for putting the trust in us as well to deliver these broadcasts. Of course, happy July 4th. I know we won't be able to see you this coming Sunday, but if you are maybe wanting to watch some racing, there will be some action on Tuesday, of course, with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will be racing in an action. I can't recall where they're going to be at. I think it's like Chicago. Can't remember, but definitely looking forward to that for sure. Tune in, of course, on Wednesday as well. We're going to be, I think, going Thunderclap iRacing Series as well. Of course, that has some really big heavy hitters in there, some actual race car drivers in real life. That race, of course, starts at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to see some racing, definitely tune in there for sure. But big shout out to Justin Levine, of course, one of our co-owners here with Grid Vision, of course, Taylor Burris as well. And, of course, my name's been Brian Britt. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Grid Vision.